All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us here at An Unlikely Story to meet children's book author, literacy champion, and Super Bowl champion Malcolm Mitchell. Before we start, I have just a couple of housekeeping items. If for any reason you lose your sound or your picture, just either refresh your screen or exit your browser and jump right back in. That always fixes the problem. If you want to improve your streaming quality, you can click on the help button and click on compatibility mode. You'll be on a slight delay and you can quit out of it at any time. So I think this is the absolutely perfect event to close out our 2020 year with our good friend, Malcolm Mitchell. We hosted Malcolm twice for his first book, The Magician's Hat, in 2017 when it was self-published, and it was hands down one of our best events ever. I still think it hasn't been knocked out of our top 5 of all time. We hosted another party in 2018 for the launch of The Magician's Hat with Scholastic. Malcolm is one of those bright lights that have kept all of us going through this challenging year. Along with being an author, his foundation, Share the Magic, puts books in the hands of kids who live in households where reading is not necessarily a priority. Their mission statement is, "To succeed, you must read." Malcolm traveled all around the country holding reading rallies where he'd connect with kids and get them all excited about reading, and they would have their very own book in their hands. I went to one of the reading rallies at Gillette, and the energy in the room was just something I'll never forget. Malcolm first came to An Unlikely Story in October 2016 when we invited him to our event with Rick Riordan. Jeff had seen his story on CBS about Malcolm joined a women's book club while he was recovering from an injury while he was in college, and he really wanted to meet him. Malcolm had just been signed with the Patriots, so he was working just right up the street. He joined us again for a fantastic event with Dave Pilkey, then coming back to visit and browse and get book recommendations. We all grew so fond of him, and we still absolutely adore him. It's kind of impossible not to. Malcolm is so genuine, and we book lovers always recognize a fellow book nerd. It was really different watching the Patriot games after that. We cheered him on touchdown after touchdown, and were beyond thrilled when he got to be on the field when the Patriots won the Super Bowl. Now, we're cheering on Malcolm for the publication of his second picture book, my very favorite book in the whole wide world, and we're delighted to welcome him virtually. I'm sorry I could not send you cake, Malcolm. Malcolm is going to be in conversation with our very own Jeff Kinney, the owner of An Unlikely Story and author of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. So without further ado, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome Malcolm Mitchell and Jeff Kinney.
Thank you, Kim. And
that was extraordinary.
I know that you seem like an amazing person, and I seem like a nothing, according to
which in actuality,
sorry.
It might actually be the opposite.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I must admit, while Kim was going through that menagerie of information, I was thinking to myself, I think coming to your store, having dialogue with you, getting to know you, getting to know everyone at the store really kind of stamped my internal approval of me as an author.
Wow.
If you recognize someone like you with, I mean, world-renowned book, right? And books, just it kind of gave me confidence to keep going. So thank you, and thank you all for that.
Gosh, thank you so much. You certainly don't need any kind of approval from me. You are a really special individual, and Kim said it all. We always keep tabs on our five favorite book events here at the bookstore. And I mean, we've been at this for 5 years. We probably have somewhere between 200 and 300 events a year. Yeah. And you're still in the top 5. I'm sure you're even in the top 3 and maybe the top 1.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, if I can keep riding your coattail and the store's coattail at the top, I'm more than willing to do it.
So before we get into your books, let's talk about, you've had some big changes since you moved from New England. So you moved to Atlanta. Is Atlanta home for you?
Atlanta is home for me. I grew up in Valdosta, Georgia. That's my hometown.
Yeah.
I went to Athens to play at the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
And then I went to Boston. I'm in Foxborough. And now I'm back in Atlanta, and I think it's home. The base work of my foundation is here, so.
Yeah, and what is it about the city that makes it a good fit for you? I know you played there, but what makes it a good fit in other ways?
I think just the interaction I have with the community. I've been able, through several different resources, establish good rapport and good relationships with the community of Atlanta. I love Atlanta. It seems like they're accepting the message that I want to share. They fuel me. They help propel me. It challenges me. So it's a good fit.
That's really cool. I spent a lot of time in Atlanta. We made a movie down there, so I've got a love for Atlanta as well. Another really big change is you're a father. Congratulations. So tell us everything. Tell us about the name, everything.
Well, Oakley Grand Mitchell is his name. He was born June 19th of this year.
Yeah.
He is, he grows on me every day.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's smart. I'm sure all parents say that. But it's really cool. You know, I don't think throughout my journey being a father was on that priority list. I was worried about football and buying nice clothes and cars. And then you know, he came along and really changed and challenged my perspective on things. He's a blessing. He's actually in there with his mom right now getting ready for bed. I guess I couldn't change his bedtime.
Well, at least you don't have to just change his diaper right now. So
man.
So you have a new book. Congratulations on publishing your second book.
I'll hold it up with you so we look cool. Yeah.
There we go, which is called My Very Favorite Book in the Whole Wide World. And it really is excellent. So it's about this kid named Henley. Henley, let's talk a little bit about Henley and tell me what you have in common with Henley.
Okay, so this book, I say all the time, and a great question was asked of me yesterday. What did I learn from the magician's hat to Henley? Mm-hmm. And it was just, I think by the time I got to writing my very favorite book in the whole wide world, I had went through several athletic challenges in my athletic career. I think I became a more voracious reader than even before, started to understand different things. And then I also looked internally and said, what message can I send that'd be beneficial? And Henley best relates to me by him having challenges with reading.
And you're really honest about it. It says, you know, in some books, the words are too big, the sentence is too long, and there are way too many pages. And it really struck me from reading that. I was like, I've never read a book where the book is about that reading can actually be hard. So and was it hard for you as a kid?
It was terribly difficult. Henley captures that very well. In the book, you'll see his hands get sweaty, his brain hurts, he's confused, he's sad, he's lost, he feels isolated. Those are all the feelings I had sitting in a classroom when I was asked to read To Kill a Mockingbird. It's a phenomenal book, but I was terrified to read it. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I had to there was a scene of King Lear where the teacher wanted us to come in and act out this, like, King Lear's up on the mountain, he's going crazy, and there's wind for this. I had that feeling of like just sweat, you know, I was so far out of my comfort zone. So then you had that feeling in the classroom when it came to books, but then you counteracted it with success in football. Is that right?
Right. And I think that ended up being quite a coincidence. I had this separate and powerful personality on the football field, but in the classroom, I was this shy kid who would be willing to hide under the table or even get in trouble to get out of reading. And I think as I got older, I realized that didn't seem like a great combination.
That's interesting. Yeah. And you write about discovering your interests. So as a kid, outside of football, did you have any other interests?
I was really into anime, cartoons.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I actually, side note, I did not watch football growing up.
Oh, really?
I was not a fan of watching sports. I was always outside playing, but if I was in the house, I was watching SpongeBob or Cat Dog, something like that.
Right. There's a moment in the book when Henley's teacher asks everybody to bring in their favorite book. There was something about it that felt like that came from real life. Was there a moment when your teacher said you need to bring in a physical book?
I did not personally experience that, but here's what I did experience. I had a teacher by the name of Holly Stone. She was my 11th grade American history teacher. And she was the teacher that really, really disciplined me as a student. And she sat me down every day and taught me about what was necessary to have academic achievement. And a part of that journey was coming in every day, being prepared for the next lesson. So I really took that ideal of a teacher holding the student accountable through personal experience.
Yeah. And I saw an interview, I read an interview with you recently where you said that you were grateful that the path your life has taken because you've gotten to show a whole different side of you that was hidden, that's outside of football. So now we know, Malcolm Mitchell, reading enthusiast, advocate, and Malcolm Mitchell, football player. Is there anything in your adult life? Is there a whole nother side of you that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah, I don't want to get too philosophical on this since we're talking about the picture book, but I don't know. I just believe all of us have multiple layers. We're like Shrek. We're like onions, right? And we have to find the confidence to peel back layer by layer. And writing books, you share some things that are personal.
Yeah.
So as I continue my journey, hopefully through literacy, I can, show some other sides of myself.
That's really cool. And of course, that's what you should do as an author. That's great to hear, and we'll be rewarded for that. So, of course, I have to ask, since you have with a book with the title like this, did you have any favorite books growing up?
Growing up, I did not become an avid reader until I was 19. So I'll have to start there.
Yeah.
And one of the most impactful books I've read is called The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. It was a phenomenal book.
Yeah.
I read Hey Kiddo by Jared, who I talked with yesterday.
Yeah.
Your books have been influential. If I had to name my how about this? I name my prized possessions.
Yeah, what's that?
And that's every copy of your book signed by me. So I need the new one.
Really? I feel a little bad because I actually had my assistant sign those. So I'll come back through. I'll sign. I'll sign them. And you can compare the signatures.
Okay.
So.
I seriously have. I had Kim give me all those books signed by you, and I'm like saving them for Oakley one day.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna frame him so he can't get a hold of them.
Now you've met so many authors, right? That's something that's so wonderful about the children's book community is that children's authors are so giving, and so you must be picking out books for your kid now. Like, have you been?
I'm a little biased so far.
What's that?
I'm a little biased so far towards you and Dave Pilkey.
Okay,
because you three have become really close friends. Dave has supported my foundation.
Really?
He has financially supported my foundation. He has supported it with video content. He's sent Oakley some gifts. So, and you have been a tremendous friend doing things for our foundation. Jared has also. So it's like I'm a little biased when I walk into the store.
Well, Dave Pilkey is a great guy and a good friend, and he is always one-upping me and shaming me with his generosity. So there have been times like I'd go to some crazy place, like some place where in California where the houses were wiped out by fire. Right. And I would say, you know what, I'm going to donate. Each kid, gets $100 gift certificate to this bookstore. Right. And the bookstore owners will be like, wow, that's really nice. And they'd be like, no, Dave Pilkey was through here last week. He gave $1,000 to every kid. I was like, Dave Pilkey. So it doesn't surprise me.
If you want to have an opportunity to one up him, you call me and I'll tell you what he did, and he can support children.
I think I really will do that. He's one of the greatest, really. So you're going to pick out books for your kids. You're going to take some of mine, some of Dave's. Of course, it's important to see yourself in a book, and I think that something that I thought was really profound about your book is there's a moment when Henley writes his own book, and he does it because there aren't any books where he can see himself really.
Right.
And I just wondered, I wondered about that. How important do you think it is to be able to see yourself in a book?
Jeff, I'll be brutally honest with you. Once I started my career as an author, I'm not sure I paid a ton of attention to that idea or that morality, because I was coming from a completely different angle.
Yeah.
I was a kid who grew up very athletic and praised throughout sport.
Yeah.
So cultural identity was, not something I had given a lot of attention because I was always praised. I mean that humbly, but I also mean that in a way that is kind of shameful. But as I started to learn more, being more involved in my community, have more intimate relationship with my culture, I realized that there are kids who look just like me that don't realize that they can accomplish these millions of different opportunities that exist.
Yeah.
When we were writing my very favorite book in the whole wide world, it was an opportunity for me to send a subliminal message to kids who look like me, say, hey, you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool with this book.
Yeah, I think that's been my biggest takeaway from the past 5 years. Of course, I'm always learning and growing. My favorite thing to do is to sit in the audience at my bookstore and listen to the author on stage, including yourself. And I think that's been my biggest takeaway of how important it is for kids to see themselves in the books. I'm not just talking about their race or gender, just their true selves. And that's something that I really like about your book, is that's the message, is that not only does Henley want a book to exist that in which the real him can be reflected back, but that he also wants to tell people about himself, right? He wants them to see the real him as well. So I really like that.
Let me harp on that just for one more second. It's really encouraging when you can pick up anything and you see yourself in it.
Yeah.
Or even when we have dialogue or conversation. And earlier I was talking to Kim, who works at your store, who's become a really good friend. And we had this moment where we kind of connected on growing up in a single parent household. And it's like, it's such a harsh reality, but it's almost empowering when you find a friend or some other external thing that you can connect to. So absolutely right.
Yeah, I've noticed that your Twitter icon is your mom. Tell us a little bit. Is there a straight line from her to the work that you do now?
Straight line in everything that I do. I give her credit for it all. I would not be the person I am today if it was not for my mother. She is my champion. She represents everything that I hope to become and everything I probably will fail to reach, because she's extraordinary. Yeah,
that's quite a thing.
In the book I write, as I dedicated to my mother, as I did the Magician's Hat. To my mom, my very favorite person in the whole wide world.
Wow, that's really cool. What a thing to say. That's really awesome. And so you've met lots of authors, as we mentioned before. Who are some of the favorite personalities or the people that you kind of connected with? I'm not really talking about their work per se right here, but is there anybody that has stood out that you've made a connection with?
That's a good question. I would say it's the three of you that I've mentioned. I think that's why I've really cherished our friendship. I would love to meet more authors, and through Scholastic and other books, I've had the opportunity to be on some virtual events with authors who I'm very interested in having more conversations with. It's really cool. It's like it's kind of this weird like dynamic between this old sports world that I'm kind of embedded into, and this new author-related community, and they're polar opposites.
Sure.
I mean, you have football player or athletes talking about, maybe going out having fun and going to train the next day. That's the of the job. And then we have conversations about cultural identity. Not saying athletes don't do that, but just different outward appearance. There's a person at the intersection of me and you, and that's Chris Long. Who I work with. He's a teammate. He's very outspoken, and I think he is the kind of guy that would talk about cultural identity and be pretty fluent in that. It's really cool to see athletes coming out with YouTube channels or podcasts where they're showing their intellectual sides. I think that's a cool dynamic that's coming to light too.
I worked with him because he's digging wells in Tanzania, and I got involved in that.
He's extraordinary. Gave away his whole salary one year. I mean,
yeah, we dug a well in Tanzania, and then Dave Pilkey came and dug. I want to talk about I want to talk about something that's not so funny is COVID. So here you are on this track, starting kind of a really diving into your new career when football ended, and then COVID hit. How has it changed the way that you do your work?
It's been really challenging. I don't think I realized how much I explored and connected with people, and how much my creativity is fueled by conversations or interactions.
Yeah.
And while I do isolate myself to do a project, getting that energy, that surge comes from communicating with others, and missing that has been really challenging, and finding ways to combat that or overcome that challenge hasn't been easy.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about the fact that you really, you grew up in arenas in a way, especially in Georgia, and then of course in Foxborough, and then so it was very natural for you to be in front of a group of hundreds of kids.
Right.
And today I was just looking at it was a clip from the Super Bowl when Tom Brady hit you on, I think it was like 3rd and 19 or something like that. And I actually felt nervous to catch it. And I was wondering, does a crowd, you've already answered it really, is that a crowd does fuel you, but does it make you a better version of yourself, or does it make it more difficult to do what you're trying to do?
I enjoy pressure.
Yeah.
So I think it makes me more intense, hyper-focused. But I don't know. I don't think I have a good answer to that. But let me say that even in this book, my very favorite book in the whole wide world, a lot of what I'm writing about is personal experience.
Yeah.
But you can see throughout the book where I'm engaging people that I've met over time. Like Rackley's Bookshop is the person I met in the Barnes & Noble to join the women's book club.
Oh, that's cool.
Mrs. Joy is actually a teacher that was at the high school I went to. My mom is a real person who gave me real advice.
Sure.
So it's like, I guess through crowds, I find pieces that kind of attach to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see you get back out there, because that's where you belong, not at the other end of a Zoom screen.
Well, how have you been?
I've been doing all right. I think I've written 2 or 3 books in a cemetery. That's where I write.
Okay.
And so, and then we did these book tours that were kind of crazy, where I had a van and like a 9-foot grabber, and I'd be wearing a mask and hand the book to the kid with that's what we have to do these days. It's ridiculous. But you've kept yourself a lot busier than I have, and you're involved in so many organizations, it makes my head swim. So I'm going to ask you. I'm going to name the organization, and these aren't all yours.
Okay.
Right? And then you give me a 1-sentence what it is or what it was. Okay. So Read Marathon.
Read Marathon is the virtual reading challenge that my foundation put on to increase reading stamina for children.
Oh, that's cool. Reading stamina. I like that. How about Share the Magic?
Share the Magic Foundation is the foundation that I created in 2016 to introduce kids and children in low-income communities to the benefits of being an active reader.
Nice. Wow, man, you're on top of it. Are you reading that off of
I'm not. I'm going off the cusp here. My foundation, if my team, the foundation is watching this, I think they'd be impressed.
All right. How about Read Camp 2020?
Read Camp 2020 is the summer, is our virtual reading challenge to help defeat the summer slide.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then Read Bowl.
Read Bowl is our biggest competition of the year, and it's our next virtual challenge that starts in January. I would encourage, it's really fun. I would encourage any educator, parent, teacher to go to our website, readwithmalcolm.com, and check out Read Bowl. It's the ultimate reading challenge, and kids from all over the country and even kids in other countries compete. It's really cool.
Wow. And let's talk about teachers for a second. So let's say a teacher has a kid like a young Malcolm Mitchell, a kid that starts to sweat when they get a book or is quiet in the back of the classroom.
You're starting to make me sweat. What are you going to ask?
They must be asking you, how do you reach that kid?
Yeah, that's a great question. And for me, what locked me in was making a connection, a cultural connection to the benefits of reading. Mm-hmm. You know, sitting in the classroom as a kid growing up in a low-income community, dealing with challenges at home and dealing with challenges outside of school, encouraging me to get an A simply because it's an A was not enough to make me strive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do.
But the moment a teacher connected that A with financial freedom, or when it was connected to going to college, getting out of the hometown. Well, now that A represented something different.
Yeah.
And having that connectivity between academic achievements and personal gains was what connected everything for me.
Huh, that's really interesting. So there was a question I asked you years ago. I said, and this was when you were playing football. I said, there's in a musical, because we did a musical for Diary of a Wimpy Kid. There's the second song is always the "I Want" song. It's when the character tells the audience what they want, right? So in like The Little Mermaid, Ariel said she wants to be part of your world. So you know exactly where she is. And I asked you what your "I Want" song would be, and you gave me an answer.
I'm scared to know what I said.
I'll bet you don't remember.
I have no clue.
I know you don't remember it. What's your "I Want" song? What's your "I Want" song now? And then I'll tell you what your answer was.
Now it's I think this book represents so much more than anything that I could do personally. It's just a good representation of what I hope kids are able to grasp. There are over 13 million kids in poverty in the U.S. And that means they're likely not to have an age-appropriate book at home. Mm-hmm. If I could get this book into the hands of all those children, free for them, of course, that is an I want, because then I know they have a tool that encourages them to do something beyond what they currently see in their communities.
All right. Well, you've inspired me with that statement. And Kim, one thing we'll do, we'll buy 100 copies of your book and make sure they get out to kids around here who desperately need them.
That's awesome. I appreciate you, man.
I know Dave Pilkey bought 10,000.
He did actually, Jeff. He just called today and he ordered 500 to go to the store. I'm sorry.
We don't have Dogman money around. Your answer, and I thought it was prophetic, and I thought that you were looking to the future already, is that you said, "I want freedom." And I thought that was that's a pretty good answer. And it seems like you've got a new kind of freedom. So Malcolm, what we're going to do is we're going to do something really dangerous here. We're going to try to bring, I would like, if there is somebody who has a kid in the house who would like to talk to
can I volunteer someone?
Yeah, you know somebody who's watching?
I think he may be watching. His name is Mike Gelfond. He could be under Wendy Gelfond.
Okay, so he should, if he's there, tell him to put in the chat that Mike, he's there, and then I can invite him in from the chat.
Yeah, so you maybe Kim, if somebody's got a kid who wants to come up, they could do it in the chat, or they can even do it in the Ask a Question.
Yeah, they can do it in the Ask a Question.
If somebody wants to get on screen with Malcolm, then this is your chance.
Oh, there he is, Mike G. Is that him?
Yes.
Okay, here he comes. So, Mike, you just want to answer yes. Let Crowdcast take over your camera and your microphone.
You have to do it like twice.
Yeah, you have to do it like twice.
I want to mention before we go on, I just remember another author that I really love and appreciate, and she went to the University of Georgia, Delia Owens, author Where the Crawdad Sings. Her and I actually have a pretty decent relationship, and I know you love that book, so maybe something can come from that. I'll just put it out there.
I love it.
Is Mike G? We're not being.
He should be. It says that he's accepted and connecting, so hopefully he will be on here shortly.
All right.
Okay, and then Amy will be next. She has 2 students with questions.
Perfect.
Oh, that'd be great.
She'll be next. All right.
Do we have Mike?
That's
What's happening?
Hey, how are you?
Thanks for hosting this.
I'm going to admit, Jeff, this is more for Carter and you than me. So if a quick hi and that'd be cool. And
so we want to know who's the real Rowley.
This is a wicked good question. Who's the real Rowley? I have a complicated answer to that. There is no real Rowley. He's really meant to be just sort of the opposite of Greg. But I had a best friend named Ryan, and he and I did a lot of the things that Greg and Rowley did. So even though Rowley didn't really exist, the friendship, it was like a really tight best friendship that went all the way from 3rd grade till like 9th grade. And that is who inspired that.
Awesome. And one other question for Malcolm. In your first book, who's the real Dave?
I have a friend named Dave Sapp, who is quite the magician. And boy, he is a hoot. He's funny. He's hilarious. He is the inspiration behind that character.
That's cool.
And what a character he sounds like. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. All
Awesome.
right.
Thanks, guys.
Somebody else.
So Amy, I just pulled you in, so
Here we go, Amy.
jump on there. So Amy has 2 students with questions, so
Nice.
hopefully we'll get them up
We'll
there
have
soon.
my audio.
Yeah. Crowdcast is a little, it takes a minute to get them in, but then once they're in. All right. And I'm
I
just
try
going
to invite them in quickly. She's my. All right, Amy.
You're getting lots of good notice.
So Jerry Kraft is on Facebook, and he said, Malcolm let me try on his Super Bowl ring. I told my sons I won it before they were born. Thanks, Malcolm.
Tell him no problem. That's a cool story.
So Patricia Buckley early on said, I'm so looking forward to hearing about your new book and journey. I'm a special education teacher and private tutor working with children who struggle with decoding. Love to share stories and books with them, people who have had similar adventures. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Trey D would like to be on the big screen. Amanda Darling is a name associated with that account.
Okay. Yep. All right. Here we'll invite her up too. Maybe we'll get everybody on at once.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be good.
In the meantime, let's talk about your water balloon story, Jeff.
That's a bad story. Oh man, you look so bad. I'm not going to tell the really bad one, but I will. Hey,
Okay.
this is Trey D.
Yep.
Trey, you have to hold on 1 second because I got to tell her a quick story. I had this on my last tour. I had a pool skimmer, and I would chuck water balloons at people's cars on the way out. And sometimes the kids would be in the sunroof would be open. I'd say, you better close that sunroof or I'm going to land the water balloon right inside. And sometimes they say, go ahead, you can't do it. From 20, 30 yards out, I landed right inside the car in the middle of the fall. And one time I wiped out their whole GPS system and I had to pay for it. All right, Trey, what's your water balloon story?
I don't have a water balloon story.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah. What was it like going from football to writing books?
Oh, that's a really great question. It was different. I think with football, I spent a lot of time working out and being physically fit. But when I decided to be an author, it was polar opposites. I spent a lot of time reading, sitting, thinking, coming up with funny phrases and funny words. And that's a lot different than trying to run away from a sweaty guy trying to tackle you.
Yeah.
But, I enjoyed both process. It taught me a lot. Writing books taught me patience. The story just doesn't come out. You write a draft and then you try again, which is somewhat related to football practice. So they had their moments where they're exactly the same, but then there are moments where they're completely different. And I don't have to worry about anyone, a 300-pound guy landing on me when I write a book.
All right, thanks, Trey.
All right. Thanks, Trey.
Kim,
I
have a special guest who seems to want to meet Jeff. And
Okay.
Jeff is actually my mother.
Oh, no.
Oh, I
It's
want to meet
under,
you, Mom.
it's under the name Kira. K-I-I-R.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is William first
Okay. William, how are you?
while I look for Kira.
William, you're a handsome man.
Thank you.
Look at that haircut.
Thank you. I remember seeing you at my school AMVET.
Really? Did we have
Yeah.
a chance to talk then? Or was I just on the move?
Wait, what did you say?
Did we have a chance to talk and chat then, or was I just running around everywhere?
You were reading your new magician's hat in the hat book, and I said hi.
Well, I'm glad that you're on here, that you're able to hear Jeff and I speak. Hey, man, reading is really important. That's why I decided to become an author, because I wanted to encourage, like I did at your school that day, and that's to keep reading, keep believing yourself, dream big, shoot for the stars, and you can be whatever you want to be, even if it's not the most popular thing in the world.
Yeah.
And is this William we're talking to?
Yes.
William, I have a question for you. Who do you think would win in a race, me or Malcolm?
I don't know if I should be offended. It's taking him this long to answer that question.
He's a polite kid. All right, William.
Thank you.
You don't have to answer.
Awesome. Thanks, William.
All right, and then we have
So I found Kira.
Malcolm. I only know your mom as my mom is what you call her. So what's her name?
Her name is Tina.
Tina. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And she's on as Kira, K-I.
Kirra.
Okay. Well, hopefully she's listening. Oh, there she is. I invited her on.
And Zakira M and Tina would like to.
Yes, Zakira is my sister.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Let me not ignore her because of my mom.
Okay, so she's accepting and connecting, so that's
Okay.
good. They should
That's good.
hopefully be on and your mom is watching too, Jeff.
My mom. Oh, my mom. Wow.
Yeah, your mom's on there too.
They
Hey,
always
Pat.
sneak into the videos, don't they?
You know, yeah. When you were going on and on about your mom, I was thinking, should I say something nice about my mom? I was like, no, she's not watching. My mom's my hero too.
Keep going. Yeah.
It is because she worked a day job, and then at night she went to school, and that was really hard. But she kind of taught me you can do more than one thing,
Right.
and it's and that really helped me because I actually kept my job while I had a job as a computer programmer while I worked on Diary of a Wimpy Kid at night. I didn't feel like I needed to go all in, like I could do two things at once. So thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
All right, are we gonna get Tina? Do you think?
I think so. Hopefully, someone else. Jennifer has a question on Facebook. Oh no, Michelle. Do either one of you get writing ideas when you're doing something completely different, like working out or eating?
I definitely get some imagery to add into the books. I have not got an entire story from other activities. Entire stories usually come from years of a certain experience, and then I'll write from that. But I definitely get ideas randomly to add into the book for sure. Like the town swimming pool idea inside my very favorite book in the whole wide world. I was at a pool at a friend's house, and I came up with that idea.
That's cool. Yeah, for me it was like I would get ideas mowing the lawn, but then I don't like to work, so I decided to instead ride a bicycle in a circle in my cul-de-sac. I just ride for hours and hours in a circle, and then sometimes I get ideas that way. All right, I see there are a few people who want to come in. I know that we want Tina to come on screen.
Yeah.
But she's not here yet. And we see, I'm going to try to, how about Yasiel and Carla? What about Barbara Murphy's?
I know Barbara.
You
know Barbara? Okay, here, I'm going to invite Barbara on.
Does she want to come on?
Oh, okay, so Kara had technical difficulties. Let's try again. So hopefully now I'm going to invite Tina on again. So hang on. Barbara, don't accept yet because I'm going to invite Tina on. We'll just have a line of people.
I'm enjoying this. This is fun.
This is super fun. Malcolm, it is so good to see you. This is like just brighten my whole. I've been looking forward to this all day.
I have this ring light that Jasmine made me get to make my skin pop.
Well, I have a ring light too. How come I look like a corpse? I need one.
I had to get one because I borrowed Jeff's once and I broke a piece off it, and I was afraid to ever pick it up again.
and then I brush my teeth. My mom hates when I don't have a haircut, but
I guess I'm like 30 years older than you, so that's why I look a little gray here.
All right. So hopefully Tina's getting on.
And I do see that Evan says, me and my brother have a question for Malcolm.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, and you know what, Kim? We're gonna put 3 more people on screen total.
Okay.
And
So far I have Barbara and I have
yeah, and we need to hold a spot.
somebody else.
So that's
And I have
Barbara,
Tina.
Evan, and Tina.
Yeah.
And then Aaron, why don't you go ahead and ask me your question by just put it in the chat, and I'll go ahead and answer that now. Sam and Alex had tech problems as well. Sorry.
Yep. All right. So here's a question from Kimberly that has 3 votes. She would love to hear how Malcolm feels about becoming a father himself. She said, not sure if the baby has been born yet, but he has.
Yes, Oakley is 6 months old now. Being a father has been very rewarding, very challenging, very, very challenging. But there are moments where he smiles and engages with you that makes you kind of forget about the tantrum and the diapers. So I think I'd like to think I was in control of my life. I really wasn't. But I think he's come along and really allowed me to be even more calm in situations where it's required, because with a newborn, there isn't much negotiating you can do. You accept whatever they dish out. You try to be, I guess Oakley's listening too, so let me say something.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
This is a moment where I'm going to discipline him. It is past your bedtime. Go to bed. No, I'm kidding. But no, it's taught me patience, and it's really helped me look at life a lot differently. Yeah.
Let me say something much less. I'm going to say something much less profound than that about being a father. Is that I won't say which kid of mine. One time I was changing a diaper in the dark, and I didn't want to turn on the lights because I didn't wake up fully. And I was like, "There's like a string attached from me to my kid." I was like, "Where's this? How does string get attached to us?" And he was peeing on my leg. I won't say which kid.
I haven't got. Well, how are your kids, by the way?
They're good. They're good. Another quick Malcolm story. It tells how good of a person Malcolm is. Is one time he met my son, and he said, "Hey, if you ever want to go to a game, here's my number." And so my kid, and I was like, "Wow, what a good guy." I was like, "We can't really take him up on it, or maybe once or something." He's like, "I'm going to every game." I was like, "No, that's not how it works." All right. So okay. So let's is there anybody else that can come on?
Yeah. Well, okay. So we have 2 people lined up that are not. Okay.
Yeah.
I asked Tina.
Yep.
All right. So who else? Okay. So here's Sam. Sam and Alex have a question.
Okay. And Aaron
Let's
wants to
try
know, did Malcolm inspire me? Yes, absolutely, every day. So he's a real thing, and I'm just a bad photocopy of the real thing. I look up to Malcolm, that's for sure. All right.
Did your son decide to play basketball or not?
He's playing basketball. He's about 6'5" now, and he's a center. So we're hoping that he's going to have a season. Where it's just like any day.
What year is he in school?
Senior. Yeah. So it's like every day I'll have to wear masks. Almost nobody's allowed in the gym. It's like it's not. Put yourself back in his shoes as a senior. It's like it's not the way you want it to end.
Okay. Well, it seems like my family's having some trouble. Let's keep it in mind as we move forward. And I see my sister trying to rectify the problem.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it won't work on the phone. So, how about if I'll connect with your mom anytime she wants by FaceTime? I'd really like that.
That'd be cool.
I really wanted to meet your mom.
Yeah,
I want to see Oakley too.
Kira, try to My sister will figure it out.
All right,
Yeah.
let's try one more here then, Samuel. Let's get Samuel
Okay.
on.
Oh.
Me and Alex have a question for you.
Okay, it shows that he's accepting, and I got all these accepting and connectings, but nobody's on the screen.
We have to end with one real live person.
We do. We have to have success.
We can't have it end this way. Just start inviting everybody and just see if
Okay.
anybody.
I'll just invite well, we can only have so many, but
I must admit, we must be entertaining because we have talked about nothing for the last 15 minutes and no one has left.
No, we're all laughing. So Samuel's question was, did you ever like video games? Because he spends all day playing video games.
Oh, well, Samuel, you should not do that. You should read a book. Matter of fact, I have a book you should read. But I do. I just got a new video game, so I'm going to try to figure it out, get into it. I started off maybe playing video games in college and kind of turned away from it just because I like to be more active. But I'm gonna try.
What's the game? Is it?
Say it again.
Can you say what the game is?
I am practicing at Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, in the new Spider-Man Miles Morales video.
So you're a PlayStation guy, okay?
Yeah. Do you play?
I hadn't played for 20 some years, and then I got hooked on Fortnite in the last year.
Really?
And I really enjoyed it. Yeah, but I don't like what those do to me.
How long did it take to get hooked?
Oh, just that is a really good game. So
Okay.
it was pretty instant. But,
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Kim, can you get anybody up? We're gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
One more minute.
We'll try that one.
Last call.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
All right. Hopefully this one will work. Whoops. This is Yep. Samuel plays Fortnite too. Here. Let's try to get Deb.
This conversation's
I think Deb has a question. We'll get her up on too.
No one forget about my very favorite book in the whole
No. So now Malcolm has signed a whole bunch of book plates for us. So when you guys, there's a green button on the bottom right underneath their handsome faces. Click on that green button and order their book.
My mom.
Oh, there's your mom.
Hi, Malcolm.
How are you?
I'm good. I was hoping to meet your mom.
I hope we figure it out in time because we're gonna have to log off soon. But no, it's good to see you. How are you?
Oh, good to see you. Remember we met at the water event?
That was at the Chris Long
The
event.
fundraiser.
Yeah. And we walked with the bottles of bigger than bottles.
Oh yeah, buckets.
Yeah, buckets. There you go. Yeah.
Those were
Well,
heavy
listen,
buckets.
congratulations on all your success. We're really proud of you.
Thank you.
And keep going. But I have a suggestion.
Not a question, a suggestion.
A suggestion. Like I give Jeff suggestions. And then he becomes famous. Anyway, here's my suggestion. You need to write a book for new parents.
Oh,
You are a natural
Tell me
on
about it.
giving new parents advice.
Well, he's
on
talking
how to
about
deal with their
disciplining a
babies.
6-month-old.
Okay? Keep it in
6
mind.
months old and he's going to disappoint.
All right.
No,
Thank you, Mom. Hey, it looks like Kira wants to be invited.
Okay.
Up, so goodbye,
Yep, I
Mom.
invited her back in.
Oh, good.
All right, let's see.
I did. So hopefully she's. Oh, Deb rejected it. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to say hello.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was great advice by your mother. I'm kind of scared of what I'll come up with though.
I like that a lot. So, John Logan, our magician friend, wants to know if you have any recommendations on shows to watch since everyone is quarantined.
That's a good one. Well, if you have HBO, Game of Thrones is my top show of all time. Breaking Bad, if you haven't watched it, those are both really old. But Queen's Gambit's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
Okay, so from Malcolm to all the 8-year-olds out there, we got Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones. Anything else? Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Start streaming tonight. And then my mom wanted you to write a book about child.
Somewhere along the line, I forgot, and we're supposed to be talking about this picture, this first grade picture book. And we're actually getting new people to log on. So
There we go. All right. Unfortunately, new people are logging on. We're going to have to log off. I'm sorry we couldn't figure it out. Tina, I would love to talk to you. FaceTime me anytime.
We'll have to do this again.
All right.
So come on, just to say goodbye.
Malcolm,
And encourage
thank you so much.
everyone to get my very favorite book in the whole wide world from our very favorite author in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
And we'll send it out to you with the signed book plate. Thanks for signing all this, Malcolm.
Well, I appreciate everyone. Jeff, Kim, I love you all.
Yeah.
Hope we get to see each other soon. I appreciate everyone who's supporting the book. Thank you.
Malcolm,
Yes, I appreciate everyone for joining us.
Yeah. Malcolm, let's log off and play some Mortal Kombat while it's put to bed.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye, Malcolm.